So in this work today, we're going to extend what we were doing in the previous lesson on listing possible outcomes. So there's no real new knowledge here. And these questions are pretty common, although sometimes they're more involved than others. But what I've done on this sheet is broken down the steps in the type of question it is. So the questions start off with a scenario which will have two variables. More often than not, it's a game. Andy is playing a game in which he has two sets of cards. The first set, which is blue, has the cards numbered 1, 2, 3, 5 and 7. And the second set, which is red, has four cards numbered 0, 4, 8 and 9. Then they'll tell you how the game is going to be played. So Andy shuffles the cards and deals one blue and one red. He then multiplies together the numbers on the cards. So sometimes it'll be adding them, sometimes it'll be connecting them, sometimes subtracting. It can be whatever they want. In this case, it's multiplying the numbers. For the first marks in the question, you'll need to complete that sample space diagram. So we've already practiced those in the previous lesson. Generally, they'll fill bits in to give you a hand in case you're not sure. So the rule of the game is scores are being multiplied. Red cards are listed here, blue cards are listed there. So I can see they've already put the scores 9 and 8 in. So I'm going to add in 4 and 0. And for the blue cards, it's 1, 2, 3, 5 and 7. And then we can see how they're being filled in, because I've got 3 and 8, which gives me 24 by multiplying them. So maybe they could have said there they find the product of the numbers, because product means multiply. But if you didn't know that, you could figure it out from the information you're given. So then we complete the table. So 0 times 1 is 0, 1 times 4, 1 times 8, 1 times 9. 2 times 0 is 0, 2 4s are 8, 16, that one's filled in, 3 zeros are 0, 12, 27, 5 zeros are 0, 5 4s are 20, 5 8s are 40, 5 9s are 45, 7 zeros are 0, 7 4s are 28, 7 8s are 56, 7 9s are 63. So you get a mark for completing the table. Then they'll test whether you know how to use the information in the table by asking you to write down some straightforward probabilities. So Andy deals the cards once. Write down the probability of him scoring an odd number. So odd numbers, excuse me, I'm about to sneeze, 9, 63, even, 0 is potentially even, it's not odd. So the probability of him scoring an odd number, there's only 4 possible ways out of a total of, so we've got 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So the chances of him scoring an odd number are 4 out of 20. Write down the probability of him not scoring an odd number. Well, that would be the difference, we did this in the previous lesson, between 1 and what we've got, which is going to be 16 out of 20. So there are 16 numbers that aren't odd. Then they'll give you a bit more information. So they're going to tell us how the game is won. The game is won if the score is more than 40. So that's the rule of the game. To win, you've got to have a score of more than 40. If Andy plays the game once, write down the probability of him winning. So we know it's going to be out of 20, and we've got to look at the numbers more than 40. So the numbers more than 40, 45, 63, 56, and then we come to 40. Now you've got to know, from your understanding of the language, that this is more than 40, so it doesn't include 40. So 40 isn't a winning score. So the chances of you winning is 3 out of 20. So that's your chances of winning this game. If a game is played 200 times, how many times would you expect Andy to win? So if he plays 20 times, we would expect him to win 3. So if he played 40 times, so making that twice as big, we would expect him to win 6 times. So what the maths that you're actually doing is multiplying the probability by the number of plays. So you're doing 3 lots of 20 times 200. Or another way of doing it is to say, well, if I want to make that out of 200, what have I got to multiply by? So I'm going to multiply that by 10 to give me 200, which means I've got to multiply that by 10 as well to make 30. So what's my answer to that bit? So the answer is 30 times. How many times would I expect Andy to win? 30 times. Now, you need to be careful here. A very common mistake is to write your answer like it is there in the workings. Okay, so 30 out of 200. That is not a 30 times win. That is a fraction. If you write it like that and then calculate it, so you would do divide by 10, and then 20 goes into that, 2 goes into that 10 times, and then 3 times 10 is 30. You get the 30 the same way. It doesn't matter, but it's important that you write 30 times and not leave it written as a fraction like that. So Andy, you would expect, or not just Andy, anybody who's going to play this game 200 times, you would expect them to win 30 times. And then the final thing that you get in some of these questions is to work with a stake, okay, to find out whether or not the game is going to make any profit for the owner. So it costs 50 pence to play the game once. The prize for winning is £1.20. If the game is played 200 times, how much profit do you expect the game to make? So everybody who plays the game is going to pay 50 pence, whether they win or lose. So in 200 times, so money in will be 200 lots of 50p. Well, 50p is half a pound, so 200 lots of half a pound will be £100. So the game is going to have £100 being given to it, but we would expect it to pay out £1.20 30 times. So money out will be 30 lots of £1.20. So however you want to do that, 3 lots of 12 is 36. So that's going to be £36. Okay, you could do that by a multiplication method, doesn't matter. So how much profit would you expect the game to make? It's going to earn £100, but it's going to pay out £36. So the profit will be 100 less 36, which is £74. No, it's not £64, isn't it? £64. Okay, so that's a profitable game. The issue is are those odds going to be attractive to people to play? So you may not be able to encourage 200 people to play because there's not that much chance of them winning. Okay, so that's Games of Chance, and those are the past paper questions that I want you to practice now in this session. Okay, so those are there.